Welcome back to Stories Worth Hearing. I'm your host, John Quick, and today's episode is one you're really going to enjoy. I'm sitting down with Lan Law, the brother duo of Lance Curtis and Lawson Wayne, two young men who are proving that big dreams, hard work, and staying true to who you are can still break through in today's music world. Lan Law is making waves across the country with a sound that's all their own. Modern country swagger, mixed with the heart and grit of classic honky-tonk. They've shared the stage with icons like Collin Raye and Gene Watson. They've had the chance to work with Dolly Parton's own producer, Kent Wells, and their breakout single, Country to the Bone, has already been watched and streamed over 30 million times. But what inspires me most is not just the success they've had, it's the way they've carried themselves on the journey. They're grounded in their roots, passionate about their craft, and committed to bringing people together through music. Their story reminds us that no matter where you come from, if you stay focused, keep the faith, and put in the work, doors will open. In this conversation, we're going to talk about their beginnings, the bond they share as brothers, the stories behind their songs, and what they see ahead as they continue to rise in the country music world. If you want to follow along with their journey and hear more of their music, head over to lanlawmusic.com. So let's dive in. Here's my conversation with Lan Law.
Eventually, throughout the years, I was actually doing music on my own, and Lawson and I, we got to doing it together probably 5 years into it, just me solo. And I'd say for another 3-4 years, it was still Lance Curtis featuring Lawson Wayne, right?
Yeah, we always went out Lance Curtis featuring Lawson Wayne or special guest Lawson Wayne. It was always something. But it took us a little bit to actually come up with Lan Law to figure out what the vibe was going to be and how it was going to work and all that.
Because not a lot of people know this, but Lawson is actually 4 years younger than I am. And he's 4 years younger and 4 feet taller. But no, when I started, I was 16, I think, when I started doing it solo full time. And at that time, Lawson was like 12, you know? And so it took him a little bit to grow up, mature, find love for music. He was still doing sports during that time. And so it just took him a little bit to catch up, but we've been doing it hot and heavy ever since. And the Lord's been blessing us throughout it.
That's awesome. So at 16, were you like out there playing gigs and stuff, or were you just kind of playing at home?
I was out playing some gigs, a few gigs here and there. You know, you don't get booked much at 16 because going through a lot of puberty changes.
Some Mexican restaurants and some other stuff.
But my grandpa, he had a classic country band. And from the time I was a year old, I grew up playing with him. I was playing guitar in the very back. You know, I'd sing a few songs. It was a family band, you know. My uncle was in it, my cousins were in it, and we grew up doing that every weekend, you know, and I loved it. And he passed away when I was right when I turned 16. He passed away 2017, and that very following week, I took my first trip to Nashville. Man, it's been a crazy ride since then. You know, we've had a lot of ups and downs over there, but more ups, you know. It's a roller coaster ride for sure, but the Lord is keeping us on the upright of it all.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about when you first realized, crap, like we could do this for a living. Like we're starting to gain traction. People are watching, listening, you know, it's more than just a hobby. Take me back to that moment where you're like, man, we could really do this.
I would say, like, as far as having a solid shot and stuff with it, when Country of the Bone blew up, there's 2 levels to that, though. There is the Nashville level of success, and then there's the world standard level of success, you know. And so we've been in Nashville for 8 or 9 years now, and basically started at the very bottom of the barrel, worked our way up, and right before Country of the Bone blew up, I would say most of Nashville already knew who Lan Law was. We were having big meetings. We were doing some big stuff and doing a little bit of touring and stuff. We played the Jacksonville Jaguar Stadium, all that stuff. And all this happened before Country of the Bone even took off. And so there is so many levels, where an artist is in their career. As far as us ever thinking, are we going to make it this? I think that was always going to be 100% in our mind, because if you're doing it if you're not doing it to make it, then why are you doing it, And so
Yeah.
we love it. We do it because we started because we love it, but we also want to make this our career. And so in Nashville, I mean, we were getting a lot of good traction and everything. Country of the Bone, we had it out for 6 months, done nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
We debuted it, opened it up for Collin Raye, and played for 10,000 people. And I mean, we had hardly to nothing streams on anything, and it just was not getting good traction. And it blew up overnight. We put out a video and it took off 2 million views. The next one over 1 million, next one over 1 million, and it was like, holy crap, this is happening. And it was just it was a crazy experience, and
Kind of had the family all in a group chat. What's going on? What are we doing? Are we?
I mean, it was a whole new ball game for us because I don't think we really comprehended how big Country to the Bone went out there. It's got some love on it, it's got some hate on it, but as far as like putting us on the map, that song put us on the map. We had Blake Shelton reaching out, we had Kane Brown and his team reaching out, and so many people and stuff, and it's been a blessing.
That's awesome. Who've been some of your biggest musical influences as you guys craft your own style?
I don't know. I would say that we try. I don't even know if we try to, but we get told a lot that as we're playing, as we're going out, they get a lot of the Blake Shelton, Trace Adkins vibes, a lot of the Montgomery Gentry vibes, some Big and Rich. I feel like whether we try to or we don't, that's kind of how our sound just veers and just goes towards.
Yeah, and I mean, I grew up in classic country, George Strait, Alan Jackson, Brooks and Dunn, and so that's the kind of music I like. But to be marketable in today's society, you have to blend it with the modern roots. So when we write, we try to be like a new traditionalist. We bring in the old elements, but mix it with what's sellable today on radio.
What's that process like for you all to create a song? What's your kind of creative process to coming up with the next song, or getting the lyrics down? What kind of process do you guys go through?
And I guess I'd say it varies from song to song. With Back in Town, I was actually in my bed one night. I was laying down, I was just sitting there, dark, fan going. I was like, da 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 da. I just start just humming out some tones and some tunes, and I was like, wait, that could actually be cool. And then I was like, take me down or take me out where the river flows. Started doing all that, and I was like, all right, I gotta record this. Did a little voice memo. Woke up the next day. I was like, hey, we need to do something with this. And then I took it to him, and he was like, all right. And then we sat down, had that song written, maybe an hour at most. Did that, but Country to the Bone, it was like a 5-minute song where he went in and he just wrote it out on a piece of paper real quick, came out and said, hey, I think I wrote a good song.
I'm a big melody guy, so I like to start with melodies most of the time. Now, I've written probably 1,000 co-writes in Nashville where we do it different every single time. There is no secret sauce or recipe to get a good song. You can start so many different ways and end up so many different spots, but by the time the song is done, it always comes out really good. It's just it's a fun process to be a part of, especially co-writing, because there's so many different elements that you're introduced to that you don't normally do yourself.
So, 20 years ago, social media didn't really exist. You probably only had one or two ways of getting big as an artist. Now social media exists. How does that play a role in what you all do, utilizing social media as a stream to get your music out there instead of just relying on record labels?
I think I really think it's made it easier for artists to get their music out there because posting on social media is free. And, anybody could do it. You just take the time to go out there and make a 10, 15-second video, post that thing, get it on the For You page or Explore page or something. And, it just takes off from there. And
It puts the ball in your court. It gives you the option to get out there and just work hard to get to it.
Which, I mean, an artist has to be their own record label these days, and so you have to do all the social media marketing, you have to do all the funding for it, and so I really feel like social media has just made it so easy for artists to have a platform where they can push their music out there to a certain extent where beforehand it wasn't possible without a record label.
So I think I've read where you've worked with Dolly Parton's producer, Kent Wells. Tell me about that experience and maybe what that was like for you all, kind of stepping into that realm of kind of the next level.
It was a pretty cool experience. I worked with Kent for, I would say 2 years, and I think we recorded 12 songs with him under Lance Curtis. There's a few of them that's out and stuff, and then there's a few unreleased songs off that album that we just haven't ever put them out there, Around that time, on the end of working with Kent, we were starting to kick around the idea of breaking out into Lan Law, and so there's several songs that are cut, ready to go out there that the world may never hear, but they might. We may put them out one of these days, redo them or something. I don't know, redo them as Lan Law. But it was a cool experience. We got to step up our game. We got to start writing with some bigger artists, some bigger writers, guys that write for Jason Aldean, Brooks and Dunn. We've written with guys that write for Brantley Gilbert and Maddie and Tate, and it's been a learning experience, getting to sit down in a room with them type of guys and writers, kick off ideas from each other. It's a really, for real, neat experience that you just don't get writing with everyone. It's a learning process, and you can build your craft from sitting down with guys like that.
What's been some of the maybe biggest obstacles for you all as you're still out there grinding away? I'm sure you faced obstacles, week in and week out, but what's been some of the biggest obstacles you face as you're trying to make a music career out of this?
I would say the hate that we get on social media, and it doesn't bother us particularly. We couldn't care less if we get it or not. And honestly, it's better sometimes that we do get it because it pushes it out further. But as far as labels and booking goes, some of these places that are wanting to book us, they go read our comments and they think, ain't nobody gonna come to these guys' show. But that's not the case. If you're at the show, it is completely different than that. We've been very blessed to be bringing out 500 to 700 people a show. It's we've got people coming to hear Country to the Bone every single show we've played since we blew up, and so it's been a love-hate relationship with all that.
So what I haven't noticed, or what has there been just like trolls or something that are like on your guys's feeds, or what's the?
There's one guy that'll every single video since the Country to the Bones ever blew up, he'll just get on there. I bet these guys make a mean grilled cheese. Yeah, it's just a bunch of trolls, a bunch of people that are just having, I guess, what their quote unquote idea of a good time on social media.
And we can take it. I mean,
playing with it.
We grew up freaking Country to the Bone, man. So comment on social media is not gonna bother us. We got way bigger concerns than them people. So, but a lot of it is trolls. We got put in hater groups and stuff like that where people get professionally paid to leave a comment like that. And I didn't know there was such a thing till all this going on. But no, it's it is what it is, and whether we're the country version of Nickelback, what
Hey, that's a compliment in some circles. Nickelback's, they sold like 100 million albums, so they're doing pretty something right.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. And so I called all the PR team, all the guys working with us when this blew up, and we were getting somewhat of a positive feedback from it. We were getting a lot of negative feedback from it. And I was like, what do we do with this? Are we on the right path? Are we committing career suicide by leaving this video up? And they're like, you guys are doing exactly what you need to be doing. Leave that video up and
Post some more.
The more hate you get, the better you're going to be, because everybody wishes they got what you guys got right now. Because, if you're getting
publicity is good publicity.
Positive comments, chances are it's going to be tops, 200 comments, people that really like you. But with the haters on social media, and I think we live in a culture where it's just acceptable to get on social media and just hate on people, and you'll get thousands and thousands of comments, a video like that. Well, that boosts the algorithm and it just keeps flooding from there, So in a weird way, we were kind of grateful for all them comments.
Yeah, they took time to help you get more views, really.
All right.
So what's next for you all? I mean, I'm sure you got big plans. What are some of the dreams and aspirations that, maybe you look back 5 years from now and you hope you'll be where in 5 years?
Honestly, I would say for me, of course, venues. There's certain venues that every artist wants to see and accomplish to reach. And part of that I'd say my top 3 would be like the Opry stage, obviously. Red Rocks. That Red Rocks, it's just a cool venue. Just to look at it, you're like, man, I want to play there one day. I'd say I'd have to go back to the Ryman also for that third one, but just playing there and honestly just being able to support my wife, and hopefully 5 years we have some kids running around, and just being able to support the family doing what we love to do. That's all that we really care about.
We got some work to do still. We still have to build our numbers up. We have to get more people in the seats and stuff at the shows. So hopefully in the next 5 years, we are touring hot and heavy and stuff. It's been hit or miss since Country of the Bone blew up on the tour dates goes. We've been doing a lot of stuff in Texas here lately. Still trying to build our fan base, you would think with 30 million views and stuff, the labels and big booking agencies would be signing in a heartbeat, and we had meetings with them all and everything, but they're like, you guys still have to get your numbers up. And so I'm like, daggone, 30 million ain't enough. So we got some work to do still to get everything built up, but we're not afraid of work. We're gonna hit it hard. The next couple of years, we're gonna get more music out there for our fan base, and we are going to get out on the road and see everybody and stuff. Hopefully get to Alaska, see you sometime and the kids, and get to meet your group, and we would love to get to meet you guys in person.
That's awesome. What's some advice you'd give to folks? There's going to be lots of folks that watch this and maybe they're just starting out with their dreams and aspirations. Maybe some of them have music in mind. Maybe some of them have business in mind. I think hustle and grind plays into all that. But what's some advice you'd give to somebody that's just starting out that, maybe doesn't realize all the work that it takes to get to even where you're at? What's advice you'd give to folks?
I would just say to never, if it's your goal and your dream, to never give up on it. Never let anybody push you away from it, to keep your nose on the grindstone. Just keep trucking forward, because ultimately, if that's what you love, that's what you want to do, there's nothing and nobody in this world that can stop you from trying to achieve it. So just keep going at it, keep working hard, and one of these days those dreams will pay off.
Yeah, and don't take one no as a no that you're never gonna make it, you know. I have seen with my own eyes, we've done American Idol auditions, we've done voice auditions, we have watched people walk in labels and walk right out without a deal, you know, we're one of them. And you know, just because it's a no then does not mean that that's the end of your career. You have to keep your head up. You have to keep it on the grindstone and just keep going, because if you believe in what you're doing, you're going to eventually make other people believe in what you're doing.
Tell me about each one of you. Describe to me, or tell me about your favorite show that you played as to, you know, to this date. Not maybe one that you want to play, but what's been one of your favorite shows you've played and why?
That's a good question. And trying to shuffle through the thousands of shows we played throughout the years. I would say one of the more fun shows we play for a bigger crowd would be the Collin Raye show with 10,000 people. That was a good show. It was hot as all get out that day though. Here it was raining.
I chose.
Steamy, it was
it rained right before the show, and it delayed our sound check to about 30 minutes till show time. Well, we finally got up there, and I was in all black, like pants, shirt, had on an over shirt and everything, and you know, trying to look the part. Well, by the time I got off the stage, it was like I jumped in the swimming pool back behind it. I mean, I was sopping wet. It was a fun show, though. There was a lot of people there.
There was a lot of people there, and a lot of them came for us, but most of them came for Collin Raye, you know. And so that was probably top two, maybe two on the list. I think the most fun show we've had is Lan Law, where people has come for Lan Law, would be College Station, Texas. We played
College Station, or even in our hometown. After we blew up our hometown, we played a few shows here. There was people, we played one show. The owner called us. He's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. He says, I've turned away 200 reservation phone calls for tonight. He said, I'm absolutely packed out. That was just the phone calls that were coming in.
Noon too.
Yeah, he said, we got there that night. There was a line out the door about 2 hours long, people waiting to get in. And I was like, man, this is one of those moments where you're like, all right, maybe this can take off and go somewhere. So seeing all of our friends and family at the show, and people we ain't seen in a long time coming out supporting and singing word for word, that was pretty cool.
And it wasn't just the hometown, you know. At that show, we had people driving 6 hours. We had people coming from Nashville. There was people that came from Fayetteville. I'm pretty sure some people that came from Texas, and everybody was just driving and coming out to see us. And so it was cool. It was the first time in our career where to see that big of a turnout and that many people singing word by word. You know, it was one of them things where you're like, I think we're doing something right here, you know, and it makes you feel good as an artist, makes you feel even better as a songwriter that you wrote a song that people are relating and connecting to.
That's awesome. It's, you know, it sounds like where y'all are from, your hometown, they're very supportive of what y'all are doing. What's that feel like to have the support of your kind of hometown crowd?
It feels really good. I think we've worked really hard for a lot of years to kind of win over the town. Since I started so early, you know, and was playing shows in the town and stuff, it took a little bit to kind of win over the town. I think this year has really been a turning point for us. But you know, it's so funny because when I was in high school playing football and everything, country music was not the big thing then, you know. I liked it, but I was probably one of the only few people in school that liked country music. And so all my friends, they're like, why aren't you singing rap music or anything like that? And I'm like, do you hear the Southern drawl on me, man? You know that ain't gonna work. But it's so funny that now all the kids in high school are these guys that I went to school with. It's their younger siblings and cousins and all that, and they're huge Lan Law fans. I mean, they're making cardboard cutouts of our heads and all that, taking them to every pep rally. They're playing our song at every game and stuff, and so it's really cool to see. It's just a big, it's like one of them comeback moments, like, hey, I was once here in your position, and now we're getting to come back and seeing some success and stuff here. It's cool.
That's awesome. Does faith play a role in anything you all do? And if so, how and why?
Faith plays a role in everything we do, man. That's we wouldn't be where we were without our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I mean, we've been in church. I've been in church ever since I was before a year old. Our dad's a Baptist pastor. Been at this church for going on 19 years now. So, I have grown up in it. I was saved when I was 4 years old. It was not anything that anybody told me, hey, you need to get saved right now. In fact, I was in my room playing one night. I mean, I remember this like it was yesterday. I was playing, had all the toys scattered out, everything. I walked into the living room. I looked at my mom laying on the couch. I said, Mom, my heart hurts. She says, well, all right. What do you need? Do you need this? No. Well, just go back into your room and play. Maybe it'll get a little better. Well, I walked back in there and came back out 20 minutes later. Mom, my heart hurts. Well, what's going on? We finally got to talking. She's asking me all these questions. I'm like, no. And then finally I said, I think I need to be saved. It was just one of those deals where I was 4 years old, but I knew, and Dad was going to seminary school in Oxford, Mississippi at that time. So he was already in the car driving to go up to school to get his he's got a doctorate in Bible languages. And he was in the car with his buddies. So she called and said, hey, I think you might want to come home. And he's like, wow, what's going on? So he turned around, drove back home. They dropped him off, and we sat here in the living room for about 2 hours. And I mean, they're hounding as much as anyone can hound a 4-year-old about asking me all these questions on, is this what you're feeling? This, and I'm answering every one of them. I'm like, yeah, I know what I need. I need Jesus as my Lord and Savior. I need him in my life. So at 4 years old, I knelt down in our living room at the coffee table and prayed and asked God to come into my heart and to live in me. And I believe that I know that he's still living in me today just as much as he was then. So I
That's
carry
awesome.
him everywhere, and I try to show him through the way that I live my life. Because like I said, without him, man, we're nothing.
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
to add on to what he said, I feel like with our music, the Lord has helped us so much, and without our faith, we wouldn't be able to make it through what we get through and stuff in the music business without him. Man. There's so many good people out there that just don't know the Lord, and they have a hard time. They struggle, and we're not here on this earth to force anybody to come to Christ, but we are here to tell them about Christ and show them um, how better their lives can be through the way you live your life. And I think that's a big staple of what Lan Law music is about. That's why we write the way we do. We write about values, family values, Christian values, and Southern values. And with that said, when we go out and play a show, we take the Lord with us in everything we do. If we're in the Smoky Bar, we've got the Lord right there with us. And we're singing country music in there, and they're seeing Christ in the example that we set in that setting. And so,
You can ask any guy that's ever played a instrument for us in our band. I mean, even even if they're not used to it, we'll pull them up, say, "Hey guys, we're gonna pray. Y'all want to jump on in this? Let's pray before we get up on stage." And we'll sit there on the corner stage and pray, and then go on up, play a show.
and
That's
I think a
awesome.
lot of times it helps kill the nerves, and it helps the show be a little bit better and tighter, and the Lord just helps you out when you got the Lord on your side.
That's awesome. Does does your thoughts of your grandpa keep you guys going as well? I know that he was a big influence in your life. How much does that play into kind of keeping you going? Because, you know, do you think he's looking down, proud of what you guys are accomplished so far? Talk to me a little bit about how that legacy.
I know he is. He had the most solid chance to make it in country music when he was down here during his time. He had a voice like Don Williams. He could play guitar like nobody's business, and he could play piano like Jerry Lee Lewis. And
That's cool.
during the rockabilly times and stuff, he would have done some really big things, and he did do some big things. He was really good buddies with Narvel Felts, and they done a bunch of shows together and all that. But as far as getting a label in Nashville, he never got to see that. He went over to Nashville a few times. He made some records, and he was going through a divorce and then some family things, and it kind of put a halt on him and stuff as far as that. And he continued the rest of his career and stuff, playing shows down here in Arkansas, but never got to take it out on the road as big as he wanted to. So I think with us, the last show he got to see me play was we did a gospel award show. It was in Missouri, and he came out to that, and man, he was proud then. And I know he'd be proud now because, as far as we've taken this, as big of a reach as we have now, and as many shows that we're playing all across the country, we're getting to live out his dream through us, and our dream too, and getting to accomplish it. I know he's looking down proud.
That's awesome. So what's next for Lan Law? Tell me about what's next on the horizon. Do you guys have the tour coming up? New songs dropping, new album dropping? Tell me all the juicy details.
Absolutely, man. So we've got a new song called Over Yonder that we wrote with the Swan Brothers. They were on Blake Shelton's team of The Voice, and they do a lot of stuff now with Blake. They just had a new song that they wrote that got on Blake's new
recreational use
album.
That album.
And it's a great song. So if you guys get the chance that are watching this to go check that album out, listen to that song, I know they would.
All of My Love, that's one they wrote.
But
I think it's number 9 on there, 8 or 9.
We wrote that with them boys, and we just signed a distribution deal with the label. We're still independent artists, but we've got a deal that hopefully pushes the music out bigger and further than what we ever could. And so, but we've got that deal going, and so as soon as the label sets up the date, we're hoping to start getting that new single on Spotify playlists, on the editorials like Today's Country Music and all that stuff, and just take it really big. So we're hoping that the year of 2026 is our year that really skyrockets everything from where we're at now. We've got that going on. We've got some ending tour dates that we're going to be finishing up this year.
Play in Texas, I know 2 or 3 times. Man, we just got back from Texas, met some nice folks over there. I know this is a little post of stuff that we've been doing, but we were supposed to go down to Texas for 2 shows in Lubbock, and then ended up hitting a coyote on the way there. Broke our fuel pump. We got stuck for 10 days.
I feel like that's a country song right there.
Yeah, that's right. We were out in the middle of the 4-6's ranch, 200,000 acres, had no, absolutely, there's not a gas station, not nothing around, no cell phone service, anything. But we got stuck in Lubbock for 10 days, had some people pick us up, take us there, tow truck, went and got the vehicle.
Yeah, we hitchhiked an hour and a half to Lubbock.
While we were there, we ended up playing the shows in Lubbock, and then met some really nice folks from Carlsbad, New Mexico. So we got to go down to New Mexico and play some shows. And actually, I believe we're going to be playing some pretty good stuff coming up down there too. So we got some stuff cooking.
To
Nice.
finish up this year, we got a few Arkansas shows. We got a few College Station, Texas shows, a few Texican Court shows, which is in Irving, Texas. We got some shows in Lubbock, Texas to finish out the year. And then we are booking up real hot and heavy for next year, 2026. And hopefully getting some big road shows coming out that we're going to be doing some big festivals and all that. That's what we're looking forward to, hopefully booking those. And we are in the process of trying to find some sponsors as well. So if anybody knows any companies that are looking for a tax write-off, help us with some gas or something, then we would love to talk to you about that.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you guys joining us here. 40 minutes has gone by in a flash. Do you guys have any last minute thoughts before we head off?
And I
appreciate you
for
having
us. And we would love to come out to the Alaska Play show for you guys and stuff. Get to meet you and the kids.
Maybe go
and
do some fishing.
Also, we're gonna need you to send us some information because we're gonna get your kids some stuff, some Lan Law
Nice.
merch. Yeah, we have merchandise as well. I'm gonna throw that in there right now. We got merchandise on our shop, our website. It's LanLawMusic.com. And so we got all that stuff. We got t-shirts, hats, hoodies. The winter's coming in Alaska, man, you can't go wrong with hoodie, right? So, but no, we got all the merch and stuff. We've got new music coming out. We've got, just a lot of big things in the works for this year. So, but man, thank you again for having us. We have really enjoyed talking to you today.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys coming on. For folks listening in, I'll put all the links to the website and the merch and all that kind of stuff in the description. So feel free to check that out. And thank you so much, Lan Law, for joining us. You're welcome back anytime. I hope you have a great rest of your day.